Fucking opening. Oh, yeah. Good morning. Oh, sorry, wrong show.
Nope. Hey, thanks for finding the Geek spot, everybody.
Oh, you're hot.
Thanks.
I don't mean that way.
It's the first time I've heard that in years.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
There it is.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. How about you, Frank?
I'm good. I had a weekend, man. How about you?
You had a weekend. That's great.
I did. I had a weekend.
I saw you were out partying, doing the thing.
No, not really. Not really
Oh.
out partying. Not that much.
Oh, what'd you do this weekend?
I basically just sat around waiting for a movie all weekend.
The Witcher. It was on Netflix. It came out Friday.
Was.
You didn't have to wait around.
It did come out Friday. I have to get through the first episode of the first season before I can get to that one.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I'm a little behind. I'm back a little bit.
Ironically, and those people that have watched it would understand, you really have to get through the last episode of the first season.
Right.
To get to the first episode of the first season, to get to
correct
the second season.
I heard it's very timey-wimey.
The first season, yes.
Timey-wimey stuff. Man,
but fun.
We saw timey-wimey stuff this weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was the Doctor Who finale like
there
a week and a half ago. So there was that.
There was that.
There was a Flash finale. That was timey-wimey.
I didn't even put that in my shows thing.
Oh, we got to talk about the wonderful Flash finale. Hi, Mom. Look,
Hi.
Mom's watching.
This is the shirt my kids got me for Father's Day. I'm just wearing it now for the first time.
It's very nice.
Father of the Year.
It's slimming.
It's Darth Vader. If you didn't know. Yeah, no, I watched on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Facebook. I watched a couple of friends of mine, and I think yours also. You at least know Jackie, right? I watched them get engaged.
Oh, that's exciting.
Sort of know Jackie a little bit.
No, I think after my time or wrong county.
Maybe. But watch them get engaged. That was awesome to see. That was really nice. Came out of the blue. Hung out, played some Jackbox games after.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, it's always a good time.
That sounds it.
I almost went to see a movie twice this weekend, but I didn't. Hey, Dylan, happy Monday to you. You know, I had a great weekend because I got to see Spider-Man. That's all that mattered.
Oh, that's exciting. You got to see Spider-Man this weekend?
I did. I saw Spider-Man.
I saw it last week, so I'm glad that you got to see it this weekend.
Did I see it Friday?
It was Friday.
It was Friday.
That was so weekend, though.
You
waited so long.
I felt like I waited an eternity.
I spoiled so many things for you.
You didn't.
I didn't. I wanted to.
No, I know you probably really did. We are
not as many as a 6-year-old spoiled for me on my way into the movie theater Thursday night.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Well, there was a 3:00 3D
Oh
showing.
no!
And they got out right before people arrived for the 7:00. No, Danny, we're talking Witcher tonight, dude.
Yeah. No. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 3 is what we're talking about. We are going to actually spoil the movie, but we're going to do that way later in the show. Probably
not way later,
like 25 minutes or so. We're going to have someone come in and a friend that a guy I become friends with on a one of them nerd sites where we talk about nerd things on Facebook.
He can be a friend.
He's a friend. No, he's a friend. I said we became
go.
friends through this nerd site. His name's Dom, and if the phone is nice, I'm gonna shoot him the link, and he's gonna jump in a little bit. But
nice.
Did you Yeah, Witcher season 2. I am like 15 minutes into episode 1 of season 1, so I'm catching up slowly.
Yeah, I attempted to watch it 3 times this weekend. It took me till the third to not fall asleep in the first 5 minutes of it.
Really?
That's a good glowing endorsement for you. No, I was just really tired.
Oh, okay.
But it's because I went Friday. Because Thursday I went and saw the movie. Friday I went and saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They were in town.
There you go. Dylan finished season 2.
That's
He
commitment,
got
Dylan.
through it.
I also had to watch the whole Ravens game yesterday because it was actually good. It was on TV. I rarely get that.
Football.
I usually have to watch the Eagles.
Football?
It's garbage. Yeah.
Football.
We
We don't get to watch the Eagles till tomorrow.
Or do you watch the Flyers? What do you do?
Watch the Flyers. It's
Wrong
not
show.
it's not even a debate. Yes,
Yeah,
wrong
that's
show, but it's not even a debate. It's not even a question.
And
I'm going to watch the team that actually still could possibly make the playoffs. But again, wrong show.
it's a good plan. Yeah, so caught all that, caught up on all the stuff that came out. Like I said, played a gig Saturday out at Crossroads, my last gig of the year. Might do a caroling holiday stream this week. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what happens.
He's going to bark any second at those dogs out back and ruin
That's
this.
exciting.
Say hi, Hudson.
Ruin's a strong term. I don't think he's going to ruin it.
Hi, Hudson. There you go.
Then a lot of football, and I'm like three episodes into The Witcher so far. It's good. I think better than season 1. So I'm
that's
excited
good.
for where it goes. Yeah, season 1 was really good, but I'm excited where this season goes. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I just started season 3 of The Office.
That sounds right. Which one? You going UK like
old
school or no?
I couldn't get through the UK one.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Should add that to your list.
I will. I'll start that now.
So I know it's not on your list, but did you watch The Flash? We got the finale of Armageddon.
I did watch The Flash.
I feel like you ranted a little bit last week on The Flash. Have you changed your mind? Did it come around for you? Or make you feel warm and fuzzy?
I'm not looking forward to the rest of the season. Not even a little bit.
It's fair.
It's turning into Supergirl for me, as in I'm losing all interest completely.
Yeah, it's getting more CW and going younger.
I don't need it. I am in the Office universe almost everywhere. Like the Office is constantly in rotation at some point. If you need something funny, you need a quick little hit, boom, The Office is right there for you on the Peacock network.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good.
I'm sure.
After you get past, I've said this many, many times, after you get through season 1, it actually picks up steam. Yeah. Season 1 is a bit of a slog.
That's most 30-minute sitcoms.
Yeah.
It takes them a year or two.
Well, the same thing happened to Parks and Rec. It wasn't until the end of the first season when Adam Scott and Rob Lowe showed up. I think they showed up in the first season. That show actually kind of took off. Maybe it was season 2.
So
so
we got the Flash. The Flash wrapped up though.
Oh God.
They're Armageddon.
Dylan. Yes.
So twisted from the I don't know why they called it Armageddon. They got through all the guest stars.
They did.
They managed to sneak in. They brought Mia Smokes in modern times now. Exciting stuff. And they made it so it looks like it's not going to be watchable the rest of the year. So
maybe she'll be part of Team.
For that.
Maybe she'll be part of Team Flash now.
Probably with the kids, because we needed. That's what we needed: less Flash and more Flash kids.
Right. Well, this show seems to. Well, I mean, at least he got his gold boots. There's that.
Yeah, that was exciting.
It took Chester P. Runk to get him the gold boots and not Cisco. A little man.
No, well, Chester P. Runk's way smarter than Cisco, apparently.
Is he?
Nope.
Oh, I thought he was.
Nope. But anyway,
it feels like he is sometimes. No, I actually hated The Flash. I was looking forward to all the guest stars, and I feel like I ranted last week about the fact that Dylan's right. The Flash should end. While it has an okay, it's a good.
They should time travel back to season 6 and end the show. Then,
yes,
is what they need to do.
Yes. This whole thing completely forgot about Savitar, and none of that factored into any of this, which is okay, cool, I guess. But I hated it. As it grew, as it went on, I hated it more and more. I thought the guy that played the bad guy, or is he a bad guy? I mean,
he's an alien despot, so usually they're considered bad guys.
He was cool. I liked him.
Yeah, very different from the comics, though.
Yeah, okay.
Despero was, much different villain, mainly a Justice League villain. It had nothing to do with Armageddon in the comics. Nothing at all. I
loved Neil McDonough coming back. I hated what they did to his character. I think I ended the show last week with a really hateful rant on that.
You did. It was intense.
They ruined it. They ruined him.
They did.
It would have been better just bringing Vandal Savage back.
And then they brought him back again this episode.
They did.
To make it really confusing as to why he was there and why he was doing what he was doing.
Well, he got his happy ending.
But his daughter, but he didn't need it because she was fine.
She was.
But and they did. Joe's back. Jesse Martin's back.
That's cool. I like him.
So they've sequestered him into a very weird role.
Where he's like the father of the team now?
No, where as a officer of the law, he had to lecture against taking measures to keep somebody from hurting you, somebody who had just killed him. It was very weird. The whole show's gotten very weird and preachy. I'm not a fan. We'll see. I'll probably just watch Legends the rest of the year, and that's it. And Batwoman. Batwoman actually got good. So
yeah, you were saying that, and I'll probably at some point catch up on Batwoman, maybe, hopefully.
And if you didn't get a chance, they did a rap video for Batwoman, a bunch of TikTok videos that are hilarious.
Oh, good. I like TikTok. Now that I've seen Spider-Man, I can go back to TikTok and start looking at stuff again. It was very. I'm not lying. I was scared to death of the internet until I saw Spider-Man. Like really scared to death.
Yeah, I haven't looked anything up for Spider-Man, so none of my algorithms linked me into it, and none of my TikTok stuff links me to any geek stuff.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. No, I started looking up spoiler stuff after I saw the movie, like to kind of figure some things out with the movie. But again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I have Ghostbusters news.
Oh, that's exciting.
Sort of a small, tiny little snippet.
They're bringing the girls back.
They're going to do a sequel with just the women and Bill Murray. No, it's Dan Aykroyd did an interview at USA Today, and basically he wants his character and Bill Murray's character to die. The actual full quote is, "I'd like to die." This is Dan Aykroyd. "I think Bill and I should be killed in the next one, or maybe we wait. Why not use the living Ghostbusters, Ernie, Billy, and myself, for 4, 5, and 6? Go until we're gone. Then there will be time for the tributes. Death is going to take us soon enough anyway."
It's fair.
It's a little morbid.
I mean, look, it's and I didn't really get talked about Ghostbusters too much on here.
No,
I would watch another one with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, but you got to take them out of the suits. They can't do the suits again.
No,
it was a little sad seeing them in the suits at this point, because you lose the luster of the young guy that was in the suit that was still had some energy, and you're just like, oh, you really wanted that check.
Oh yeah,
and you put the suit back on just for Danny.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if Bill will do another one.
I mean, look, neither one of them needs any money.
No. Dan got a little large.
He's been large.
He's
always been large. He hit it. And then if you saw this Blues Brothers 2000, which ironically came out in 99, not a small man anymore. He and Goodman were toe to toe.
And now Goodman's like the picture of Slim, and he's not.
No, I mean, yeah.
I wonder if he's still married to Donna Dixon. Remember her from the 80s?
Vaguely.
She was actually the blonde in Bosom Buddies. How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
Bringing it back to Scolari. There you go.
Yeah, without even looking that one up. She was in Spies Like Us, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Is this true? Yes, Jack has no dick. I mean, yes, this man has no dick. Thank you, Pete. Cobra Kai season 5's wrapped filming already.
Which is crazy because 4 comes out in what, 2 days? 3 days? 4 days?
End of the month. Friday? 11 days.
Is it end of the month? I thought it was Christmas Eve, I thought.
Nope, 31st.
No, something comes out Christmas Eve.
Not
I'm
that.
sure somebody
Boba Fett, maybe? Boba Fett's Christmas Eve, right?
It might be.
I think.
Boba Fett's soon.
Boba Fett is actually... I'm instead of jumping all around saying this is Star Wars, this is this, Robert Rodriguez did say ahead of the premiere, we can't use the second half of the first episode in trailers because it gives so much away. Things turn up you don't expect. You see things we couldn't believe we got to do, every episode has big surprises. Ooh.
Bringing Lobot back.
Whatever. Bring somebody back. I bet you they're going to have Darth Vader and Obi. Oh, no, wait. We're already.
No, that's next year.
That's next year.
Maybe. I don't know. Is Obi-Wan coming next year? They released their trailers for 2022, and there's a lot missing.
I don't know when Obi-Wan's coming. I mean, with the way things are starting to ramp up with the COVID stuff again, I have no idea what's going to happen.
You know, they filmed it, though. They're good. It's done. Yeah. It's done. Andor's done. I'm more excited to see Andor.
I want to see Andor. I keep trying to move my mouse over this monitor, and it doesn't work because it's a whole nother computer. It's really freaking me out. So all right, this is touchy a little bit, but have you ever watched the Goldbergs?
I have.
Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it?
I do. I used to work in Abington.
Okay.
Down the street from where they grew up.
Okay.
And the guy Goldberg, his mom used to come shop at my store.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So she would tell stories about her kid out in LA.
Right. And who now has this monster hit on his hands.
Yeah.
So earlier in the year, George Siegel, who played Pops on the show, passed away. And now
they did a real nice tribute to him on the show.
They did. And now comedian Jeff Garlin, who plays the dad, is off the show. He had just so recently put out some quotes saying that he hadn't been fired. Don't worry, everything's fine. And nope, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's easy enough to write him out of the show.
Well, so here's what they're going to do, and what they've done a couple of times in the past for him is they film his scenes with a stand-in, and then they superimpose his face over the stand-ins. That's what they're going to do for his last. He was only supposed to come back to film one day and do for the rest, whatever this season was, I guess. Yeah. That's how they're going to handle that. To dig deeper into it, he's been mocking the show during his stand-up. Now, I've heard his stand-up in the past, and I know he's on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't watch that. I think his stand-up's funny. I like him. But apparently he was very touchy-feely on set. Lots of inappropriate hugging, and loved to use the word vagina.
Yeah, I saw that.
Loved the word. He loved the word so much. But there were a lot of HR complaints.
Well, it's a young cast too. There's
they didn't
an age group you can do that with.
They didn't say if it was the cast or if it was guest stars or if it was crew. They never, and which is good because I don't want to know.
Yeah, either way, there's a lot of young people involved in the show.
There are, yes. But basically they asked him what if he doesn't like the show, what's he still doing it for? And money.
Well, yeah, duh.
Right. He's making a pretty decent salary there, I think. Or was.
Yeah, I mean most everybody else is reduced roles as it goes on, but he and Bev still there.
Yep.
Gotta hang in every episode. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that for Bev. I mean, they can do a couple very special episodes out of it. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to make it light. But he was pivotal in the one they did the tribute to George Siegel.
Right. Right.
Siegel. Batman.
Batman. Siegel.
Batman.
Not Seagal.
Batman.
Seagal is
Batman.
What?
Batman. Well, no, he calls him Batman.
Yeah, Siegel, not Seagal. Seagal is the Steven Seagal.
Got it.
Yes. What else? Oh, Wonder Woman is supposedly
spoilers
going to cameo in Shazam 2.
Yeah, which makes sense because it's about the Furies, right?
Still waiting on that Henry Cavill cameo.
He's doing fine in The Witcher. I don't need him as Superman.
No, and he's interested in doing other stuff too. What was the other thing he wanted to do?
There was Bond.
No, he's too old. He's too old for Bond.
He's 37,
which is too old for them. They said they're looking to cast someone younger that they can cast for a set number of movies, and they don't like to cast actors in their later 30s.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Considering all the ones before him, like Roger Moore was like 50 when he was cast, I think.
Maybe, but Daniel Craig was younger than that. Daniel
Not
Craig
much.
was younger, I think.
No. Daniel Craig was his mid to late 30s when they cast him.
Huh. Interesting.
I think we talked about that, but then neither one of us has taken the 7 hours to watch the movie.
No, I still haven't yet. Let's see. This says he wants to star in a Red Dead Redemption 2 adaptation.
Yeah, he's all Warhammer. He wants to star in that too.
That was the one I think that I needed. Yeah. He likes to paint the figurines. Big on that. Huge on that.
Yeah, there's a clip going around from the Graham Norton show where Graham Norton tried to make fun of him.
Yep.
And then realized it wasn't going to work and kind of started to backtrack.
Yep. It's Tom Holland's on that episode.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it was recent. I think he was on talking about Witcher and Holland was talking about Spider-Man since it released, early in England.
Yes. Did we talk about did we talk about the Jimmy Kimmel episode? No. So this isn't spoiling the movie yet anyway. So I watched a YouTube clip and Benedict and what's Ned's name? Justin? Right? His friend Ned, Justin Battleman.
Sounds right.
Batman?
Jeremy?
Batman?
Yep.
Batman? Zendaya and Tom Holland were all on Jimmy Kimmel. And as Kimmel was trying to poke and prod it.
By the way.
Jacob, thank you. I was close. We were close. So it was funny because he was going down the list of villains, and as he was listing the villains, like Tom's kind of like leaning back in his chair, and Jimmy was like, "So who else?" And Tom like kind of looked back at Benedict, and he's like, "I don't know what I'm allowed to say right now." And it was really funny. And there were a couple other things, different people that he ran into at different parties in Hollywood that Jimmy was trying to pull information out of him about. And then they showed another trailer. They showed the Brazilian trailer that we showed on the show a couple of months back or weeks back. And the first time they showed it, it was with the invisible punch, and all of them in the cast were saying that it was the scaffolding that was hitting them and blah, blah, blah. And then Jimmy showed, he said, "Oh yeah, this is another scene. I got this from another country." And have you seen Jimmy do his Craven thing?
No.
Apparently Jimmy Kimmel has been dressing up as Craven, and it's hilarious. And it was his Craven flying across the screen, punching Lizardman in that trailer. It was hilarious. If you get a chance, go and watch it. It's actually really good to watch how uncomfortable Tom Holland is. I love watching his uncomfortableness in all of these interviews.
Yeah, I'm sure he's relieved now. I'm intrigued to see. I'm sure he's doing better now. It was good to see the Uncharted trailer.
Yes.
I don't like him as Nathan Drake at all. But it was good to see the trailer. Like I would really be into it. I'm not into it as based on the video game, because the video game was great and the character was great, and he's not the character from the video game. And
I don't know how I feel about it yet
in any way, shape, or form.
I have to see it to kind of really. I played the video games too, and they were phenomenal video games. And I know they took scenes from the game and
the one in the trailer where he's climbing back onto the plane is amazing.
It's a great level or great part of the game, and it's a great scene to watch. I would have liked to see Mark Wahlberg do that role, or I mean, obviously Nathan Fillion would have been the top choice to play.
I would have bought Wahlberg more than Tom Holland in that role, which I think was the original thing, right?
It was, and then it took so long to develop. Yeah. Now he's Sully because he's too old to be Nathan.
I mean, they want to do a bunch, which is why you cast somebody who's like 25.
Yes,
but Tom Holland's like 25, going on 17 still.
Correct, he is.
Especially his voice.
Yeah,
which is I don't buy that he's going to work as Nathan Drake, sounding like he's 12.
So I think I mentioned this before that back when he filmed the Uncharted and then he went back to film Spider-Man stuff again.
Yeah,
and when he went back to the Spider-Man movie, he was still like strutting and kind of moving the way he was as Nathan Drake, as like this seasoned badass.
Right.
And they're like, and they had to keep telling him like, "Yep, Tom, like you're a teenager in this, like you're in high school, like back up, stop being such a badass." Like,
Right.
and he had to like tone himself down.
By the way, Daniel Craig was 38 when his first movie came out. Pierce Brosnan was 42.
Okay, I know I read that somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's fine. I don't know. I get why they want to go young, but I don't think anybody's chomping at the bit to see a young James Bond.
Look, I'm okay with Henry Cavill being James Bond. I'm not gonna.
It might be Tom Holland is the next James Bond. We don't know.
I saw that too when I was just looking something up. I like Tom, but come on now. Like, link him to every single role in the freaking known universe.
He can finally use his real accent, so good for him.
Oh yeah, maybe that would be good because James is English, right?
Yeah, a little bit, little bit
English.
Little
All right, so we're gonna jump to Hawkeye real fast to get Hawkeye out of the way so that I can shoot the invite over to Dom.
And then we can deep dive into The Witcher.
And then we can deep dive into The Witcher, No Way Home.
And Young Justice.
Yes, No Way Home.
I can't wait.
Yes. Unless you want to talk about them first.
No, I don't want to talk about them. We can talk about Hawkeye.
We can talk about Supergirl.
You still have a season to watch.
No, I don't. Doesn't exist. Supergirl ended with Crisis for me.
Yeah. As should they all have.
They should have.
Except for Legends. They're fine.
Yes. So if you have not seen Hawkeye episode 5
or anything else that's come out in the last week,
or anything that's come out, you could stick with us up through Hawkeye if you've seen Hawkeye but haven't seen Spider-Man. We will warn you, and I will change my background for those live watching when we go to Spider-Man. For now, it's just Hawkeye. What did you think of the last episode?
I thought it was great. I'm a real big fan of the way they're doing everything on that storyline. Honestly, I thought so much about other things after that I don't remember most of what happened in the episode, but I know the scene between Kate and Yelena was fantastic.
Yes.
Which I've read some things about that interview or that scene that are really fun. That it was real hot sauce she was using. And They warned her. They said, "Hey, you're going to have to keep eating hot sauce." She's like, "I'm good with that." Because she loves hot sauce, which is why they used it. Right. And the reason they only had one fork is they weren't allowed to share a fork because of COVID protocols.
Correct.
And the props people had only set up one fork in the room. But that was super cool, that portion of it. And then, you know, seeing them continue to work Clint over.
Yeah.
As we go. And then the big reveal at the end, right? We're going to get a Hawkeye costume.
We are getting that next episode, apparently. It's in the trailer.
Well, the LARPer said your costumes are ready.
Right.
So we're going to have his and hers matching costumes. And then we find out who the big bad was. Which I would have liked a different reveal. But
I mean, I would have liked an actual live action reveal as opposed to just a picture. But
yeah, I
think, you know, what's that? The picture speaks a thousand words or whatever.
Yeah.
It absolutely did. Before the reveal, the scene that you were talking about with the two of them sitting across from each other, a lot of that was ad-libbed. They just let them go. They had amazing chemistry together. That whole scene was, I just loved everything about this episode. We got to see the blip from a person who was blipped's perspective,
which was amazing.
It was so good. I think I put this one under WandaVision, but after last week's, this is at the top for me. Like, this is the best show they've done yet. And maybe it's because as they're going, each show seems to be getting better a little bit.
They're getting up to like to the Daredevil quality on Netflix.
Yeah, is
what they're closing it. Not as dark, obviously, but I mean they're with their storytelling, they're getting to that level that Daredevil was hitting.
Yeah.
But I would watch an entire 2-hour special just on how people blipped in and out.
Oh yeah, I would too. From their perspectives of all over the world where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happens to someone that's flying a plane, the plane crashed, when they come back, where do they come back? Like right in the spot where the plane crashed? Like that's the kind of stuff I want to know.
No, not where it crashed.
Would they be in the sky?
Yeah.
Okay, that's terrifying
Yeah.
and dark.
They talked about that after, like what happened to people that were in planes. And then it was when the Hulk brought everybody back, he thought about that for the entire universe.
For the entire of the millisecond that he did that, yes.
Of everybody in the entire universe, he made them land on the ground.
Hey, I mean, that's one way of getting out of, oh my God, we just did the most darkest thing in the world.
Right.
We'll
see.
So the big reveal at the end of Hawkeye was Yelena texting Kate, and I love the fact that she uses her full name every time she talks to her.
That's great. It's very, very on brand for Yelena's character.
Absolutely. But the big reveal at the end was Kate's mom talking to a fat guy in a white suit.
Yeah.
He's not really that fat, though. Actually,
He's a big man.
He's a big man, but he's not really that. He's not like.
No,
the comics. Some of them have him overblown, and
on the Into the Spider-Verse movie,
Is he a big guy?
Have you not seen Into the Spider-Verse yet?
Refresh my memory.
Really?
It's on tap for this week. Don't worry. That actually is. I'm on a big Spider-Man kick right now.
Dude.
Obviously.
Dude.
Yeah, but opening the door to bringing Kingpin back is kind of something huge.
Yeah, it brings in that. Well, we'll see how they play it though, right? Because now, are we bringing them and all the backstory, or are we bringing them and they're going to be lighter fare?
Right.
Does that open all of?
That's a good question.
The Netflix universe over? Because Kristen Ritter's got nothing going on. She's down.
She's in a TV show, I thought.
No, she said she's down. She's ready to come back.
What about Iron Boring?
I think
Awful
they would
Fist.
recast.
Awful Fist?
I think they would recast.
I didn't watch it because everybody said that it was terrible, so I just never bothered to watch it.
First season was rough. I'm not gonna lie. First season was rough.
I think it was you that said this.
But you had to get through the first season for Defenders to make sense.
Understood.
Because Defenders was like heavy into the Iron Fist stuff. Season 2 of Iron Fist was great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're probably gonna recast him. I just read an interview with Jessica.
Henwick.
Yeah, today.
Oh, he's in his car too. Look at that.
Where she would think about coming back.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
But her character left in a really good place. So, like, unless she comes back with Misty Knight,
right?
She's not like, why would I come back if we're not doing that story, which would be a great show. But so we'll see.
There's your transition. I'm gonna add Dom in. Before I add Dom in, I'm just gonna real fast let everybody know we're gonna talk about Spider-Man.
We're gonna spoil Spider-Man.
We're gonna spoil the living hell out of Spider-Man. Dom's seen the movie like 9 times, so I'm gonna add Dom to the stream. If you have not seen Spider-Man, jump off, go get the podcast after you see Spider-Man. Check out the YouTube channel, all that other hot stuff.
At the 33.5-minute mark is where you jump back in.
There you go. Dom,
what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you good. Way better than when Jack. Yes.
Okay, appreciate it. First things first, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Second thing, I'm listening before, but when we get off of this, you have to go watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Right?
That's a must.
No.
I'm a little bit disappointed that you haven't.
Oh, Dom, if you ever go back and watch or listen to any of these episodes, and the amount of stuff I have not seen, would you jump through the thing and strangle me? It's like that.
All right, so that's your homework for tonight.
I will do it this week. I can promise this week. I have to go to the office tomorrow. Okay, give me a break. All right, I'm gonna ask Dom first, since Dom's our guest. You saw the movie how many times?
So far, I'm on 3.
So far.
I was actually supposed to go yesterday, but my mom's. When these movies come out, I went twice on Thursday, once on Friday. took a break Saturday, just watched a couple of highlights and Easter eggs from, other content creators. I was supposed to take my mom yesterday. She didn't want to go. So I'm actually going again tomorrow.
Oh my God.
So I don't play around with these Marvel movies. I tend to go double digits when I enjoy the movie as much as I enjoyed this one.
What other movies have you seen in double digits? Okay, that's fair.
Endgame. But you know what actually helps though? I'm gonna give you a little plug. AMC A-list pass definitely helps.
I have it.
Because you pay $24 a month, 3 free movies a week. You can't beat it.
No, I have it. I'm all about it. So I'm assuming then that you liked Spider-Man.
I would say like is an understatement. Like Spider-Man to me is my favorite superhero. He is number one. So I put my biases aside because I generally tend to try to critique these movies and be as fair as possible. Obviously, with Andrew Garfield and Toby, it being leaked that they were in it, we knew what was happening. And then with the leaks coming out earlier, I watched them, tried not to. It was definitely really difficult, but I did. But it doesn't really take me out of my movie experience. So the word I described for this movie, I called my aunt when I got out and I was like, this movie is breathtaking. It absolutely took my breath away.
That's fair. Jack, what you liked it? Like you're the more critical of us with stuff.
Yeah, it takes a lot. after reading the books starting 40 years ago or so, to get into it and seeing, like, my favorite Spider-Man story is the one in the poster back there, which is Kraven's Last Hunt.
Okay.
But I had a blast at the movie. I from the beginning to the end, I thought it was really well done. I had some story issues, with beating up this kid the way they're doing. Depending on the minute, it's real easy to forget the kid's 17.
Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange forgot he was 17 as well too. That he even said in the movie, like, after all we've been through, sometimes I forget you're just a kid.
Right, like didn't even start in senior year. He's 2 months into his senior year of high school.
Yep. Oof. Can you imagine what that's like, man? Put yourself in Spider-Man situation. Mm-hmm. You get exposed. Well, first movie, all he wanted to do was be an Avenger, and then he makes the mature decision at the end of that movie. Second movie, he wants to just be a regular kid, just getting over the death of Tony Stark. He goes on a, field trip to a whole different country. Has this big plan of, I want to tell this girl I like her. Shit goes, haywire. Excuse me for cursing if, you don't curse.
You're good.
Like that.
You're good.
And then all of a sudden, like, he gets exposed, and then his whole world is just in shambles. Like, he didn't want this. He chose to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man at the end of Homecoming and just keep his nose under. If this would have happened to somebody like Tony Stark would have just brushed it off like, yeah, I'm Iron Man. So what? Oh, well. But being that he's a kid, he was going through a whole bunch of different pressures. And the fact that they couldn't get into MIT put a lot of pressure on him because, Ned and MJ were affected.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder with stuff like that. And those are some of the story things, though. Like, so what's happened to Stark Industries that it's gone so bad at this point that Pepper can't just be like, yo, put these 3 kids in and that's it.
Well, they said that they started investigating them a little bit. They definitely caught a lot of heat because there was that one scene where the trucks were driving out of Stark Tower with the rest of the drones when they tracked it back. So I imagine they were definitely under investigation when it comes to that, on top of everything else that Stark Industries has been involved with.
Yeah, I just want to know what happened to him the 5 years from Infinity War to Endgame, where you end up with Tony out in the middle. Like, is Stark still a thing? Did they sell it? Like, what?
Oh, no, it's definitely still a thing. But now that Tony Stark's not there and he's not the face of it, it's definitely going to be something more in the background. And we'll probably just hear from, just them talking and stuff like that. We probably won't see Pepper again. Endgame was probably the last time we see Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper. But actually, I'm wrong. There was a leak that came out earlier, like a couple of days ago, that Morgan Stark's character, I think her real name is Lexi Rabi. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She was actually supposed to be in No Way Home, and her scene got cut. So we were supposed to get Morgan Stark in No Way Home. So I wonder what that would have been like.
I saw that.
Frank, what about you? What do you think?
I've been saying all along, the movie's perfect to me. It's perfect, and the way they ended it, as brutal mentally that this kid is going through in this character, the way they ended it, they gave him a whole new beginning. And there were a lot of complaints from people that watched the movies all along about he's so reliant on Stark technology. He's basically Iron Man Jr. Everything Stark. Now he's not, and now he is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's his suit. He made the suit. It has no Stark technology. He doesn't have anything to do with any of that, and it's kind of like a big reset. And I think that's a great move if you're going to keep this guy coming back to do these movies. What, 3 more? The next one's already in talk or development.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with everything. I agree with everything you said in that last statement. Like, they definitely hit the restart button for those that were complaining about Iron Boy Jr. And stuff like that. Then when he comes out and he's listening to Police Scanner, he's in the apartment with obviously not the same guy that was asking for rent from Tobey Maguire, but
it's the same. The apartment looks the same though.
It does. It definitely looks the same, but definitely different tenant for now, at least a different landlord.
That landlord showing up would have been perfect.
That would have been hilarious. But in this movie, they definitely paid a lot of homage to other movies, and I feel like with this particular movie, there was a lot of redemption that they gave in this movie, from Andrew's part of grabbing, saving MJ right when Tom Holland got pulled away. That was a stand-up ovation type moment. Everybody was clapping. My biggest thing is, one of my biggest things I think a lot of people don't really understand is, I love how they actually gave Tobey Maguire a chance to show off his intelligence, because in his Spider-Man, in his trilogy, all he really did was really punch his way out of every situation, whether it was defeating Green Goblin, and then Goblin eventually died at his own hands, fighting fist to fist with Doc Ock, and then Doc Ock chose to drown the reactor, and then fighting with Sandman and then Venom. We never really got to see his intelligence on display. Andrew, we saw it a little bit. Tom Holland, we saw it a lot. So that scene of all 3 of them actually doing science stuff, to me, that was amazing, because Peter Parker's, in the comic books, Peter Parker's, one of his best attributes is his intelligence, because he figures his way out of situations. He doesn't always just punch his way out of situations. So that's one thing that I definitely think they redeemed themselves on. Another one was they got rid of that gaudy helmet that William Dafoe had to wear the whole movie. That in this movie, we really got to see how big of a mistake they made, because his facial acting was phenomenal. Like, that one scene where Peter's spider sense was going off, and he predicted, and he was like sensing that there was more evil in the room.
Right.
Just that reminded me of James McAvoy from Split, where right when the camera's on, you split from one character to another, which is very, very difficult, but he nailed that.
I haven't seen that. Shocker.
Not a surprise, Frank.
But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Willem Dafoe coming back was what made the movie.
He said one of the things I was reading was, he said that basically one of the only reasons he actually agreed to come back is because they let him do his own stunts.
That's 66.
Man, Jack? What was your favorite part of the whole movie? If you had to pick one single moment from the whole movie, all 6 hours of the movie, 2.5.
I'd have to. I think my favorite part was when, and I wasn't a big fan of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but when Garfield showed up.
Okay, Dom, what was your same thing, favorite part of the whole movie?
I'm gonna tell you, I have 2, because I always like to say my favorite part, and I always like to say what was my favorite humor part, because MCU definitely incorporates a lot of humor into this. My favorite part was Andrew's redemption scene. Unlike Jack, I love the Amazing Spider-Mans. They spoke to me realistically. Andrew wasn't the best Peter, but he was a great Spider-Man. So when he got his redemption, and to be able to see his face was just crazy, along with them swinging with each other and landing on the Statue of Liberty head, where if you look closely in that scene, when they're swinging in the air, you see Tom hit both of his webs, Andrew and Toby catch them, and Tom slings them forward. That's a scene that a lot of people miss because of how hype it is. And my favorite funny moment has to be where they reference the memes, where they were like, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself,
Oh yeah.
That shit had me dying. Because that just goes to show you how intelligent MCU is. To be able to keep up with the times, like of what's going on, that to me shows that they really care about fans.
My most favorite scene was the Garfield scene, the redemption that he got, because it was, and you saw it coming, and you knew it was going to happen as they were going through that scene. That by far, I mean, the two reveals were obviously awesome, and the comedy on how Toby, does his web, and the other two don't get it, and that was funny. But the redemption was by far my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
I do wish the first time I saw that scene was in the theater, though.
You spoiled it for yourself?
Oh, really?
I wish that the first time that I saw MJ Fallen was during the movie.
Oh, not in the preview.
Not like in all the trailers going like, oh, Andrew's going to save her.
Right. But I thought that's where he was going to show up for the first time. The fact that they actually gave the two of them substantial roles and not just quick cameos. Dylan said in the chat he loved the shots they made. The lizard calling out Electro for getting a new look. There was a lot of great, and them calling, them poking fun at Doc Ock's name. Like they weren't afraid to make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
How about the fact that Doctor Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah, because he
yeah.
got blipped, right?
He got demoted. Yeah.
He got blipped and demoted. Like that's interesting.
I don't know. But how about the fact that Wong just keeps piecing out in pivotal situations like Infinity War, Ghost, and he's like, you guys, you can handle this.
I'm gonna go take care of the China office.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Or the Hong Kong office is where he went, right?
Yeah, he got a lot of, he's irresponsible.
So No Way Home earned $260 million domestically. It's the second highest opening weekend of all time, beating Infinity War. Avengers Endgame is the only movie ahead of it. It's gonna do stupid numbers as long as movie theaters don't shut down.
Yeah.
I think if this was pre-pandemic, like before that even happened, this thing would be skyrocketed right now.
Very easily, because it's delayed in a couple of countries as well. They're not getting it until mid to end January. So
Yep.
And there's a lot of competition coming out in the next 5 days too.
Yeah, I thought that too. Matrix, Kingsman, all that other stuff. Yeah,
is the
but
Matrix?
I still think.
Oh, that's this week, isn't it?
Matrix is Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So's Kingsman.
But I'm gonna tell you this part. I looked on the AMC website for the big theaters like IMAX and Dolby and stuff like that. They're still showing Spider-Man exclusively. So they're showing Matrix and stuff like that in the smaller type theaters.
That's interesting.
So I mean, that can change over time, but definitely they got to get the Spider-Man train going.
So I saw the pictures before the movie came out. It was a month or two ago, I think. We were going back and forth, Jack, with the pictures.
Yeah.
The Charlie Cox picture and then the picture of the three of them standing together. You knew it was coming, but it didn't ruin it. The Charlie Cox scene was great.
It was.
But is he Daredevil now, or is he how do they set that?
Well, and yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Do you think with this introduction, Dom, of the Netflix casts, do you think they're going to carry over the storyline or just reintroduce the characters?
From what I'm hearing, they're definitely thinking about making those series canon for the sole purpose of Kevin Feige wants to take bits and pieces of things from those stories to incorporate in future Daredevil. So, I mean, they might just make it canon, but I mean, we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see, obviously, a Daredevil and Spider-Man, not film, but definitely give us a little bit of them, because in the comic books, they go, they're really close in the comic books.
Right.
But you have a lot more swing in Daredevil in the comic books too, though.
Yeah.
But now
I don't know if I see the way they had portrayed Charlie Cox is swinging between buildings like you get in the comics with Daredevil. But yeah, I think those two could be a really good pair.
Well, they would have to reintroduce each other then, because Charlie Cox has no idea who he is now.
Well, but Daredevil can be Spider-Man now.
That's true. There's a website that's got 5 fan theories that were right and 5 that were wrong. And I love looking at the ones that were wrong. The Matt Murdock one coming back, that was right. the two other Spider-Man, Maguire and that was right. Dr. Octopus switching sides, that actually kind of happened, right?
100% that happened, yeah.
Aunt May dying, like I honestly I didn't see that coming.
I thought it was coming. I was gonna ask you guys your reaction on that because like I figured once we saw that scene in the trailer of, and obviously you got to take everything that Marvel shows you in the trailer with a grain of salt because they'll be so quick to remove shit like what they did in Infinity War. But that one scene of him crying in the rain, I thought to myself, somebody had just died, and I didn't think it was gonna be Toby or Andrew. Even when Toby got stabbed at the end, I didn't think he was gonna die.
No.
But I definitely thought Aunt May was gonna perish because it had to have been somebody close to Tom.
Right.
So yeah. So what was you guys' reaction during that scene?
Jack, before you answer that, there's the question you had earlier about Dylan, what he got spoiled from the score. It was Aunt May dying.
So yeah, Don, one of our regular viewers, Dylan, looked up the soundtrack and it ended up being the score listing that spoiled that 2 weeks ago for him.
Yeah, that sucks. Same thing with the toys. I mean, the toys spoil stuff all the time. Like,
hats off to him for not revealing that because that would have kicked me in the side.
I wish I hadn't just seen it in the Spider-Man video game.
Oh
Did she die there too?
Spoilers for a 3-year-old video game. Yeah,
but I just started playing again yesterday. I just beat Shocker.
But I like, and conveniently they just really introduced Feast, which is heavily featured in the video game too in this movie. But I was disappointed they went that route. But I guess they felt they needed to, as Andrew and Toby put it later on, like he needed an Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah, of course.
Which was really Tony, the way they're doing the character. But do we even know? Did he have an Uncle Ben?
Well, we're supposed to be getting that Spider-Man animated series that's going to be showing the earlier times because we got introduced to Peter Parker when he had been Spider-Man for 6 months. Right. So when that animated Spider-Man series comes out, which Disney's been killing the animated series and stuff like that, they've been killing the shows. So when that comes out, we're going to see the pre-Tony stuff. So maybe we'll see an Uncle Ben because there's only one time I could actually remember hearing a little bit about Uncle Ben when Ned had just found out he was Spider-Man Homecoming. And he was like, I can't tell Aunt May. After everything she's been through, this would kill her. So we could just assume that was Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I wonder where we're gonna take that because
the Aunt May thing kicked me in the feels pretty good.
I cried.
That was a really, really well acted emotional scene. That was a really emotionally heavy scene.
Yep. I teared up when I watched it. It had dropped like a day or two before going to the theater. And you know how them YouTube algorithms work. Shit popped up on my timeline. I'm like, you know what? I got to emotionally prepare myself. And they played it out really good because in the trailer, they made it seem like she was going to die from the explosion. But she didn't. He deflected the explosion away, and she died very similar to how Goblin died in the first movie. She got stabbed. It showed a lot of character for her to get up and genuinely care about Peter's well-being, not just physically, but mentally as well. And then she hits him with the great power comes great responsibility line. And then all of a sudden she just collapses and she doesn't know what's happening. She's looking at her hand shaking. And then Peter's like, what's going on? And he's like, when he hits her with the look at me, May, just look at me, I started getting choked up. I was like, oh man, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Dylan said the sad part was Happy showing up, seeing Peter's face, and know what happened. That was also pretty messed up too.
Oh yeah, he knew it. He saw it.
What some of these wrong fan theories? No Way Home is a Sinister Six movie.
I can't believe they only got to 5.
Right, Miles Morales will appear. Emma Stone will appear.
But the Jamie Foxx line totally set up Miles coming.
Totally did. Absolutely.
Talking to Andrew Garfield.
As long as we got an Easter egg, I would say that I would give that one credit. I'm not going to say it totally counted, but we'll give it some credit.
Yeah. I honestly I can't find any like every movie that we see, I'm able to find something to pick apart on it, and the length was fine.
I'm gonna tell you this. This is what if I was to, I'm not gonna nitpick. I'm not gonna say, be that guy. But if I was to say something was
That's
missing
Jack.
from this movie, say it again.
That's Jack.
Oh, okay. If I was to say something's missing from this movie, and you guys will agree, a Stan Lee cameo. That's the only thing that felt really off about this. I left the theater like, man, we need a Stan Lee cameo.
It's a shame because it's the perfect movie to have him cameo in because
all 3 Spider-Man.
Yeah. So there's also talk now of them revisiting Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I heard that.
I really don't have a problem with that.
It'd be if we get to see a little darker side, like he was telling Peter how he stopped pulling his punches.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Well, it's easy to forget Andrew Garfield was only Spider-Man 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't long ago. He would still be playing Spider-Man if the MCU hadn't taken off the way it did.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a third. There was supposed to be a 4th movie?
There was supposed to be a Sinister with Toby?
No, it was a third one with Garfield.
Yeah.
There was
supposed to be a Sinister 6 one in between there. And then the Garfield one after that. They had it planned out to like 2018.
Right.
Yep.
And then
like I said, he still looks good. He still looks good enough that he looks like he can still play the role.
It was interesting watching the 3 of them act together because I didn't realize how good of an actor Garfield was.
Yes.
He's a very good
until
actor.
You see the 3 of them and you're like, this guy's like mad chops.
Toby was really, they were all really, really good.
I forgot how much I loved Tobey Maguire for that decade that he was in everything.
I just watched Toby. I watched Toby's the first 2 Spider-Man. Do you need to see the Garfield Spider-Man movies before this one? You don't need to, but it adds to the weight of seeing him. It adds that you really get. You don't. So you're not going to get the weight.
Just watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I think you kind of do. I think you have to really, in order to appreciate the redemption scene, you have to know what he went through with Gwen.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Is that scene itself was that if you don't see the other movie, you don't really get it as much.
Exactly. So I got a question for you guys. So where do you think they go from here with Spider-Man?
Jack, you're good. You're way better at this. I know what I think.
Look, we're due for a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but I don't know how Marvel can scale it back like that. That's just not their thing. I'd love for there to be that without world-ending stakes in every movie because it's Spider-Man. There shouldn't be world-ending stakes in every movie. That's what I would. That's how I think they will go, but I don't know how they're going to get there. Because I don't want to see a dark Spider-Man for the next 3 movies as he deals with all this craziness. But I'd love to see them introduce Gwen. Or actually Mary Jane, because we still haven't actually gotten Mary Jane.
Well, technically,
she makes abundantly clear.
Yeah,
she's Michelle Jones.
Right.
Well, in this universe, this is the first time we heard Watson, so I don't think we're getting MJ.
No, I don't think they're going to retcon. I think they retconned her back as far as they could name-wise, or as far as they're willing to.
I would like to see Felicia Hardy, considering also that they're trying to tie in Morbius, so that goes hand in hand. What I think is going to happen, obviously, because we got the symbiote with the Tom Hardy cameo of Sony coming in. I personally think Spider-Man 4, he's probably going to encounter the symbiote, and then I think we'll get a whole movie around that because he has a lot of adventures as Black Suit Spider-Man, and then I think we'll get a Secret Wars Avengers movie with Spider-Man in there, because if you go back and look in the comics, Black Spider-Man was very pivotal to that storyline. And then I can see maybe a Spider-Man 5 in the beginning, him getting rid of the symbiote and us getting a Venom movie with a different Eddie Brock.
What do you think the rest of the universe gets their memories back of him at some point?
I don't know. Personally, it doesn't really matter to me if they do, because Spider-Man has always been his own hero. He's never really been in the Avengers, and they finally hit the reset button. So I don't think they're going to go so quick to. I think we're going to get new stories of people knowing and finding out who he is instead of just everybody else. Because think about it, Happy is the only person, because MJ and Ned are off to MIT.
Right.
Happy's the only one that really, is pivotal to who knew before. Like I said, I'd like to see Felicia, and that's to get a little Black Cat. Eddie Brock obviously is going to find out who he is. Maybe get a Gwen Stacy. That'd be pretty dope to see a different Gwen Stacy. So, like I said, I think they're going to go with the new storylines of people finding out.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
because I mean the ripple effect of who doesn't know who he is the Vulture doesn't know who he is, and
yep.
None of those villains, and like just it just goes on. Dylan said a minute ago that there was supposed to be a fourth Toby movie with Mysterio that Jake Gyllenhaal was up to play back then. Amazing Spider-Man 3 was supposed to go Sinister Six, right? I remember they teased the hell out of that at the end of of the second one.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that we're going to get Agent Venom when he bonds with Flash.
That's possible, but
I'm okay with it. Like,
I think it's going to be a little down the line though, because they have to establish Venom first. So
yeah. I like the way they reset him at the end, and then the trailer that we got as the second credit scene was like they're making the What If Doctor Strange thing canon, right? Is that what that looks like?
It's gonna be Marvel's first horror movie. So
yeah, it definitely looks like the What If Doctor Strange is going to pop up in there.
That was the only What If I liked.
Yeah.
As long as there's no zombies, I'm happy.
Actually, with that, you know, I don't want to be this guy, but you know, there are leaks out there that, you know, coming from the same sources. Do you guys care? You guys want to hear it or no?
Fire. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. There are the same sources that came out and dropped a lot of stuff about Endgame. I mean, about No Way Home. Said that we're supposed to be getting our first X-Men in Multiverse of Madness. Supposed to be possibly Xavier supposed to be coming through.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, you know, they're just leaks, but they're just rumors and leaks. But I guess we'll see what happens.
And how they pull that in. I mean, I wonder if we're going to start X-Men as young, if we're going to go old with it, if they're going to pull it in from another universe. Same thing with Fantastic Four, right? Like, how do you pull those characters in with that rich history they have outside of?
Right.
I personally, I would love to see Chris Evans cameo as a variant of Johnny Storm.
That'd be good.
People that know him come back and be like, Steve? And he's like, who's Steve?
Right.
That would be hilarious.
Well, Jack, what's going to happen is the Engineer is going to come, and the Fantastic Four will come with the Engineer from WandaVision.
No, it's not going to. The Engineer was in WandaVision. I keep telling you.
I don't believe you.
Or you get Mephisto. It finally pops up to help Peter get everybody to know who he is again. The people
possibly
that he wants.
a little reverse of the Happy Birthday series. Okay, I see that.
Yeah, or One More Day. You get
One More Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard you guys earlier talking about Hawkeye. At the end of No Way Home, he's obviously swinging on Christmas. How awesome would it be if Wednesday morning, last episode of Hawkeye, we just get a little Spider-Man swinging across the screen?
Same holiday.
I believe Hawkeye. I believe Hawkeye is right after Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah, but then when he at the end where he's in his apartment, it's obviously Christmas time. So, I don't know. Anything's possible.
So it's a Christmas movie.
It could be. Are they in Queens at all though?
Are they? Well, no, but they've. I mean,
Hawkeye. Is Hawkeye in Queens? I don't know if he's in Queens.
No, I think they took place in Times Square, Manhattan. So
yeah, he was uptown.
Mm-hmm.
Uptown, gonna give it to you.
Well, you know, most unemployed 17-year-olds with no degree can afford places up there. So,
well, of course they can. Maybe his Stark bank account didn't get erased.
Right? Nah, he's probably back to being broke. I hope he put some of that money in his own bank account. So,
Dylan asked before we wrap up, did the Fantastic Four buy Avengers Tower or did Kingpin? They didn't say.
I don't think either one's going to.
I don't think either one's going to have ownership of it. I think they're going to leave that kind of hang out there in the wind for right now, because the rumors were the Fantastic Four was going to get it. Then there was the Kingpin stuff.
But it looks like we're not getting. The other rumor was Oscorp, which it looks like we're not getting.
No,
because nobody knew. Well, right, but all of a sudden, Oscorp builds a business empire that nobody'd heard of yet.
Well, he went back to his own universe. They all went back to their own universes, right?
But there's supposed to be one in our universe, right? They're all doppelgangers.
They're supposed to be.
So
yeah.
all of those villains should be here somewhere, or should be in the MCU somewhere.
I think it's definitely possible. It's Fantastic Four, because they were saying something, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier as far as Kevin Feige wants to take bits and pieces. There was something earlier that in Hawkeye, one of the buildings in the trailer looked like a building that was purchased by Kingpin in the Daredevil series.
Okay.
So they were saying, in order to answer that guy's question, I think it's definitely Reed Richards that probably bought Avengers Tower.
I'm in. Just make sure you cast Reed Richards the right way. That's all.
No, make sure you cast Doctor Doom the right way, because I'm sick of that shit already.
Okay. Doctor Doom is probably one of my favorite villains of all comics.
Mm-hmm. And they continuously nerf him, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
But John Watts, who directed all the Spider-Man trilogy, is actually tied on to direct that. So we might be able to get ourselves maybe duo Spider-Man / Fantastic Four movie down the line. You never know.
Yeah, we should be due for some casting news in that soon too.
I hope
it's
so.
on the slate.
Just make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon for me.
Which reminds me of one other thing though. So that means in Shang-Chi, the Sorcerer Supreme was doing arena fighting,
right?
With Abomination,
right? Yep. For extra money, extra money, because the Sorcerer Supreme's broke.
I mean, it showed in Endgame he only had rubies, which was like $1 something for a sandwich.
Right, right, and he was getting Hulka burning fudge.
Yeah, so,
but that's a good wrap on Spider-Man. On everything. Thank you, Dom, for popping in. That was a real good take on everything.
Where can people find you, Dom?
You can find me on all platforms at CHYEA_ACE. I put it in the display. I'm social media. I do it all as far as music, acting, and all that stuff. So you can definitely find me on there.
Awesome, good to hear. And you guys can find us, like we say every week. If you find us streaming, find us on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you drop us that 5-star rating on iTunes. Tell a friend. Tell them to come check it out. Join the fun every week. Join the conversation. Dylan's fairly new, and he's right in there every week. So we appreciate everybody that comes in and brings somebody new with them. So thanks, everybody, for finding the Geek Spot again.
Thank you. Thank you, Dom, for jumping in.
Appreciate you guys.
See you later.